Okay, so here we are. We've got the drywall in. I think I showed that to you before. We've got the fireproof drywall tape. That's what I was mentioning in the last episode, is we're using flame fighter, complete firewall without mud. So basically you can stick it on, but then we're mudding over it a little bit. So we've got that every place that there's a seam all the way around. So we got that taken care of. And then we've already gotten our first piece of fireproof drywall in. You can maybe see it on video, but it's a little bit reddish orange. That's how they make sure that you're putting regular plywood in, or when they deliver it, they give you regular plywood instead of fireproof. So we've got the first piece in, and then we're going to go around all the seams there before we put the lower pieces in. We're using Great Stuff's fire block. Again, I keep saying this every episode. I'm not sponsored. This is literally the money I'm paying out of my own pocket to do my own job. So we've got that. Now that's not going to look very pretty when it's done. It's a little industrial as it is. We're going to actually go through and we're going to use fireproof paint, and we're going to paint this whole closet in fireproof paint, because the shelves are going to be in here and that sort of thing. We're not fireproofing that. We're basically just fireproofing anywhere where if the fire started here, it's going to go up, and where most of the electronics. So over here is basically where the 2-inch conduits are going to come down right into the box. And then that's going to be, just bump the ladder and knock stuff over. That's where is going to be the fire alarm. And then from underneath the house in the entertainment center, that's where that comes in. And then the Bose audio, the cable boxes are going to be here. There is the, to the right-hand side right here. That's where our ground is coming up, dedicated ground to outside for all this equipment. And then the black and the red, white cable are for the satellite demarc and for the cable company demarc. And then down here is where the whole home audio. So let me explain that real quick. So this goes to speakers around the house, and this goes to the entertainment center. So there's speakers for the front right, front left, back right, back left, center, and bass for the home theater. So that's what that is. That's why that's different. So the reason we left this open is we're going to end up dropping a 3/4 conduit downstairs. So they're bringing fiber to the area, and we want to make sure it's easy for the guy to pull it, so that way he doesn't try to drill a hole in my wall next to my office, and we can bring it right up into here. So that's why we've left that open for now. We're basically going to drop the fireproof plywood to right about like inch or two below that tape line. And then we're going to come in and finish this up real quick. We were just trying to get the network up so we can start pulling and get our security system up and running, and we can get our cable from the over-the-air antenna, OTA antenna, working, and get the home entertainment system wired and connected. So that's why we're doing this, and that's why we left that open. But again, we're going to be basically coming through and making sure all these seams are sealed with that Great Stuff. And someone, I know somebody in the comments is going to say this. This is so OA. You don't need to do all this. You're fireproofing the drywall, you're fireproofing the seams, you're fireproofing with this, and then you're going to use fireproof paint. That's overkill. There's no reason to. Well, here's the closet. Okay? This is the closet. There's my office. And there's the master bedroom. The back of this wall is the walk-in closet for my bedroom. This is my family. I'm fireproofing the living S out of this because I don't want to wake up one night and have a problem where I may lose my wife, kids, my cat. So everything in this closet, including the paint, is going to be fireproofed. Because the chances of anything catching fire is fairly freaking remote. I'm not going to be the one on the news. So there you go. You think it's OA? Fine. I'm not risking my family for what? $200 worth of stuff to do this? No, not happening. So anyway, let's get some more stuff done, and we'll check back with you again later. Bye. Hey folks, we're back to pictures again for the second episode in a row, and I want to apologize. You got to understand, I took 2 weeks off to get everything packed up, moved, unpacked, get all the work done, or at least as much work as I could do to get to the point where I could be back up and running at least at a bare bones minimum so I could be back online. I'm working from home, just kind of like a lot of other people are. So I had to be back online by Monday. So it's been a whirlwind, about 3 weekends. So my best friend has been down helping me out. He's more of the kind of construction / electrical HVAC guy. I'm more of the construction / network engineering, technical security kind of guy. So we work real well together. We've known each other since, wow, we were kids. But anyway, here's a picture of him. He's up there putting on that fireproof spray foam. So I think in the last video that we were looking at, I had gotten up early and did that quick video, and we had gotten up the one piece of ceiling before we kind of bailed out and went to breakfast, and then came back and started trying to knock this out because we had a deadline coming up for Monday for being back up to work. So we had to get a ton done. But we put this spray foam in here before we put the fireproof plywood in to make sure that no fire or smoke or anything could get back behind those in those joints. So that way there was no ingress. That's kind of like the full bead. So you can see across the top of the ceiling. I can assure you between the top of the ceiling and the wall that's already installed right there, there is a line of spray foam behind that as well. And then also around, that's the fitting where the Carlon conduit goes back down to behind the entertainment center and behind the TV, as well as the conduit that goes down underneath the house so we can run the new Cat 6A and replace that old Cat 5. So here you can kind of see it after we've gotten the wall up, and you can see where the spray foam has been penetrating through and sealing up those cracks really, really well. And that's kind of the finished product right there. As you can see, it's kind of messy. It squeezed out a lot, which is good. That's exactly what we wanted to do. I ended up coming back with a DeWalt oscillating tool and cleaning that up with their little cutter edge. But we wanted to make sure that all the seams were completely filled. Once we got that done, we bailed out and we got to lunch. We got most of the walls and that sort of thing up. And then we came back and we drilled through the ceiling and we spaced the holes out for bringing it up into the attic for that future expansion in the networking, that sort of thing. So I know the picture isn't great. I don't have a tape measure down, but I just wanted to point out, at least in North Carolina, the building code says that there should be a minimum of about 2 inches from the top and the bottom of the joist. So we centered it, and it was actually worked out absolutely perfectly on that joist from the top and the bottom. So we were definitely within code there. And also says there must be at least about 2 inches between the holes. So in other words, one conduit cannot be any closer than 2.5 or 2 inches. And once we measured it out and laid it out, it actually worked out pretty perfectly. There's actually 3 inches between each conduit. So I know we're absolutely well within code. And the reason we did it where we did it and not closer to the bottom of the picture there is because we have a setback that we have to maintain for building code, because we cannot drill anything or any hole anywhere close to that LVL, which is at the bottom of the picture. That's one of the LVL, if you're not familiar with, is one of the main support beams. So it's a main support beam that the joists come off of. So, you can't be drilling any closer than, I think it's 24 inches. Anyway, we're almost, 3.5 feet away. So we had more than enough space. I mean, if you think about a piece of plywood is 4x8, I mean, we're 4 feet away before we even start drilling those holes. So we're easily within code. The green wire that you see there is the ground wire that we brought in from the attic ceiling for the over-the-air antenna. We kind of ran it through there, which worked out perfectly. I didn't run it through the conduit just because it's a ground wire. It's not like I'm going to ever have to change that. Ground wire is ground wire is ground wire. So we ran it right beside one of the conduits. And then here you can see that we've run the conduits through the ceiling, and then we've gone through with that, again, fireproof spray foam, and we just foamed the living crap out of that. And then we also spray foamed here around the joist as well. So there's no way that any fire could get up into that space, and there's definitely no way that it could come through the other side of it as well into the other joist void. So that's a little bit better. Sorry again, I got my big toe sticking in there. I should be wearing steel toe boots or composite toe boots. If I was on working on a job site, I would definitely be doing that. But I'm in my house, and if I drop a hammer on my foot, I only have myself to blame, and I'm an idiot. So anyway, like there you can see where we fireproof spray foam between all the joist bays. And once we brought it up the side, that's kind of what we looked at before we put the AdvanTech sheathing back down. The way we pulled that up is it was actually done really well. It was glued and screwed. So I basically had to take a skill saw, a DeWalt skill saw, and again, not paid by DeWalt to boost their products. This is stuff that I've purchased on my own accord. But I used a DeWalt skill saw and I basically set it to the depth of the LVL. And right behind each joist, I cut a seam out behind it, and then I had to go around each edge because it's tongue and groove. So I had to rip that tongue out so that way we could pull it up. But then I came behind each joist widthwise and cut it out so that way I could basically hammer it down and be able to pull it up, because once it's glued and screwed, it's not coming up. So it was a royal pain to get up. And then I took my oscillating tool, my DeWalt oscillating tool with a nail and wood bit, and went across the top of each joist and basically got off any of the nails or screws that were left over. And then I got rid of all the glue and wood that was still kind of left from when we pulled it up. And let's see, here you can see we're putting a brand new sheet of AdvanTech back down on top. We're gluing it and we're screwing it all back down so it is nice and tight. And then here's kind of like the look of once it was completed. And I'm kind of running a bit out of time, so I will be getting into kind of a walkthrough of that in our next episode when I get a chance to start playing around and editing that. But I've got another bunch of stuff I got to get done today. I'll explain kind of why some of these conduits look a little bit bent and a couple other things, and why there's loops up there. But that's literally the job that was done by morning, and then there's a bunch of other stuff we got done later in the afternoon, and I'll try to edit that video and get it out to you next week. So thank you again. I appreciate you being patient and me talking through some pictures. We'll get back to regular videos next week, because by the end of this weekend, I was back up and running well enough to be able to work on Monday, or at least it's definitely not finished, but I was able to kind of jury rig it a little bit where I could just put a Wi-Fi access point kind of hanging down in the closet that I could actually get Wi-Fi in the house until I finished up a bunch of other work. But hope you have a great week. Thank you. I appreciate your patience. Have a great one. Talk to you later. Bye.